had catch for 1 yard last year. No touchdowns. You had Kevontae Turpin, my dog. Kevontae Turpin, my dog, but bruh, he had 396 yards, 2 touchdowns from the wide receiver position. And Trajan Holden did not record a stat last year, right? So the question that I'm asking is this question right here. Do the Cowboys have enough at the wide receiver position, or do y'all want to add more? I'm gonna ask you that question. I'm gonna ask you that question. Let you answer first, and go ahead and talk for a little bit, and then I'm gonna come right behind you.
I'll say very simply, last year you produced a top, depending on what metric you're looking under, but the Cowboys were a top 3 offense in just about every metric that you can come up with. In most publications or most categories, Cowboys were number 1 in offense, and that is with the guys that West Coast just came up with, so we know what they can do automatically. They can be a top offense in the league regardless. Your quarterback has always been a over 4,000 yard quarterback, high in QBR. Javonte Williams, was a surprise, but we know what he's capable of. Pickens and CD speak for itself. Jake Ferguson, is a solid tight end. The line is there. Everything is fine. So yeah, they can do what they do. Ryan Flournoy, I think he probably the only one that we can question. But when he had his opportunities, he showed out. So we know he can get the job done. My point is that I want to be as unstoppable as possible. I said it last night with West Coast. If you saw me last night at West Coast talking about it, I don't believe that the defense will be nowhere near where the offense will be. So I believe that we ought to strengthen our strength. And our strength on this team is our offense. So give me another weapon. Whatever that weapon is, as long as it can contribute to it, I don't care who it is. Somebody said something, I think Wes said he's going to talk about Love a little bit later on. That's a weapon. If he falls there, that makes your offense better. It doesn't make it worse. If you add a real tight end that can really be somewhere in the seams and do some damage downfield, then add that to it. If it's another wide receiver, if he's better than Flournoy, then go get him. It's just that simple. We are the number 1 offense in the league. I mean, at least they showed that last year. If we can, and I believe we can, hey, add another weapon. So, yeah, we can get it done. No question about it. To answer your question.
Okay, this is my thoughts on it right here. Just a couple facts. CeeDee Lamb did miss 4 games last year, so with him missing those 4 games, one would like to think, he averaged about 68 yards a game. That's 6, 12, 18, 24. So theoretically, he probably would have ended with about, if CeeDee Lamb plays all the games last year, he probably ends up around 1,200, 1,300 yards last year. Now, touchdowns, totally different story. Why? Because he only had 3 touchdowns. I would assume with those extra 4 games, he probably gets at most 3 more touchdowns. So CD ends up being a 1,200-yard receiver, 6 touchdowns. My thing is this, right? Not even every year, but you can never go into a season expecting everybody to be healthy. Why? Because the NFL is a violent game. You know what I'm saying? Listen to me, the NBA currently right now has players like LeBron James, all these big-time players who miss games, and the NBA ain't nearly as contact as the NFL. Hence the reason why there's only 17 games in NFL. So the thought that someone's going to be able to play every single game is damn near almost impossible anyway. You have to expect for someone to get injured, whether that be on your wide receiver room, your running back room, even in your quarterback room, tight end room, someone is going to, you know what I'm saying? Why? Because they play more snaps than anybody else on the team too, the offense. And the way our defense is set up, meaning they're not good, you would want your offense on the field more. But being on the field more, what does that do? That opens you up to have guys injured. So that's just what it is. Now I'm gonna talk my first. So I'm gonna break it down by player, what I think about each player and their expectation. But as an entire room, looking at the entire room, man, I'm gonna keep it real with you, man. Going into what I believe the Dallas Cowboys, this offense is going to have to carry the defense, or carry. I'm gonna forget to carry the defense. They're gonna have to carry the team. There's going to be a portion, like the season is kind of cut up in four parts, right? Every 4 games. For the first 4 games of the season, the Dallas Cowboys offense is going to have to carry this team. Why? Because they're the only unit that's actually been together. Like, if the Dallas Cowboys had a party right now, the only people that wouldn't be wearing name tags is the offense. Is the offense. The defense, they're all gonna have name tags that say, "Hello, my name is," and then they're gonna write PJ Locke.
Yeah,
Tom.
Exactly.
Your defensive coordinator is gonna have a tag on it. Listen to me. There's probably gonna be times in the first 2 days of practice when your defensive coordinator, they're gonna look at him and say, "Hey man, where are your shoulder pads at? Where's your helmet at?" There's probably gonna be people that's gonna think he a player. Why? Because he's just as young as them.
Yeah, exactly.
So this offense, there is going to be times where this offense is going to have to carry this team. Now, listen to me. I'm Mr. Run the Damn Ball. I am definitely Mr. Run the Damn Ball, and I definitely believe in the Dallas Cowboys running the damn football. But I'm gonna be honest with you right now. If you look at the way this offense is built, even this wide receiver room, if you don't add anybody, is probably your strongest room on offense. So if I have 70 snaps, because outside of Javonte Williams, who's your start? We're going to do running backs probably tomorrow or the next day. But outside of Javonte Williams, who do you have at running back? That's why CeeDee Lamb was running the ball last year in this 4 games. That's exactly why CeeDee Lamb was running the ball last year. Why? Because behind him, you really don't got nobody. You got Blue, but depending on what shoes he wear, he may not be okay. You know what I'm saying? Because remember, he took him 5 months to get on the football field, and then when he finally got on the football field, he wore some shoes that gave him, I don't know, man. In 2026, man, these dudes just be getting some crazy injuries that I ain't never even heard of, man. Like, maybe they got them in the 80s, but they for sure didn't tell nobody.
Yeah, exactly.
If your foot wasn't falling off in the 80s, if your foot wasn't falling off in the 80s, you was not telling your coach you had cramped feet or whatever they said he had, man. I don't even want to repeat it. But this is just a new generation. So theoretically, when I look at this Dallas Cowboy team, your expectation should be on this wide receiver room. So the wide receiver as a whole needs to be good. And I'm not going to expect that my top 3, even my all 6, are going to be healthy all season. I'm not going to, because it didn't happen last year, right? Praise God, CeeDee Lamb didn't get no major injury or anything like that, but even him missed 4 games. So what did that mean? While he was gone, guess what happened? Ryan Floyd, part of the reason why Ryan Floyd was able to get 475 yards last year is because CeeDee Lamb got hurt. You know what I'm saying? Now, Ryan Floyd, just to talk about him, he's 26 years old, out of Southeast Missouri. He had 40 catches last year, 475 yards, 4 touchdowns, and he averaged about 11.5 yards per catch. Now, for a third receiver, technically, I'm gonna be honest with you, I personally want more. Why? Because there was a time where the Dallas Cowboys had Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, and Michael Gallup, who was not even healthy. And you know what y'all was talking about? Y'all was talking about we should have 1,000 yards from each one of those dudes. So y'all was talking about a 3-headed monster with those guys, right? So I digress. I look at what I have right now. And so my expectation for my third receiver is at least 800 yards, 900 yards, at least getting in that compass. Why? Because with those type of throws and those type of moving the ball down the field, that allows me to take some of the pressure off the running game, and it also takes some of the pressure off my defense. Why? Because they won't be on the field as much. You know what I'm saying? So
True.
what's up with you, Big Andre Stacks? Appreciate you for coming in. He says, I like to see Holden. But the Cowboys behind, listen to me, you have a lot of proven talent. The Cowboys have a ton of proven talent right now, and CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, but behind that, you don't have anything really. And listen to me, KaVontae Turpin, he's been on the team going on 4 years now. KaVontae Turpin, as much as we want him to be a receiver, bro, he ain't a receiver.
No.
He's not a receiver.
He's a splash receiver.
He's a splash receiver. My guy played all 17 games. He had 296 yards, 2 touchdowns from the wide receiver position. He did average 15.2 yards per catch. Salute to him on that. But I'm just being honest with you, man. KaVontae Turpin, I'm done counting him as a wide receiver because either the Dallas Cowboys don't think that he can do it, or because man, listen to me. If KaVontae Turpin was a wide receiver at $6 million, Floyd Noy would have not got the opportunity that he got. That's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? When CeeDee Lamb went down, they did not they did not thrust KaVontae Turpin in that second receiver position or in that third receiver position. They brought Ryan Flournoy. So I'm not saying I don't believe in him. I just feel like the Dallas Cowboys don't believe in him. What are your thoughts on KaVontae Turpin playing wide receiver?
Well, I agree. He's had all the time in the world, and what he is a glorified. He's not a glorified. He's a awesome kick returner who got some real wide receiver money because they tried to make him more than what he was, but at the same time, you gave the opportunity, or some of these receivers took his spot. I believe Flournoy kind of took his spot. And we still haven't seen Holden, but if you gave Holden some time, I believe he would also kind of take his spot as well. So, because I think Holden is more complete receiver, but Turpin, what he can do when he does line up on the offense, he's more of a decoy. What he can do is run people away. He can run away and bust the top off of defense, which opens up everything in the middle. And what he also did, Wes, is like you just said, to go back to Javonte Williams. Once you leave Javonte Williams and take him out of the equation, they were running CD and they ran KaVontae Turpin. We really didn't find out the best running back last year was Davis. But look how long it took before they finally figured that out. So we're kind of suffering with an identity crisis in the running back room because we don't really specialize in getting a true number 2. So you have to replace that, and everybody, the wide receiver got hurt, Lamb, KaVontae Turpin got banged up as well, and so if they're just going a part of the running game, that's the wrong thing. So as you just said, where somebody gonna get hurt. I even take this back to what you said before, and this is another whole thing. When you said that CD missed those games, you said what happened. One of the things that we can't ignore is that prior to him getting hurt, CD being hurt, George Pickens was good, but it wasn't until CD went down that George Pickens became an all-pro. So we know the numbers, we know the yardage that George Pickens got. It's not even a question to me. If CD didn't get hurt, would George Pickens be an all-pro? Now that's what you really need to be talking about. Would he all this drama about how much he getting paid? I know he showed it, and he is great. George Pickens is great. He showed he can be a number 1. But if CD is healthy, George Pickens is not a number 1. He is a number 2 wide receiver. And those numbers that you see right there, They would not be there if CD wouldn't have never got hurt. You can subtract some of that stuff, and CD probably CD got over 1,000 yards last year and missed 4 games. And with his production, and you know what I'm saying, he would have been all pro again. There's no question about it. He made the Pro Bowl last year. There's not a lot to say, but to get over 1,000 yards and missing 4 games, that ought to tell you exactly what kind of receiver CD Lamb is. I love Pickens. I love him on this team. I know what dynamic he brings. But if you really want to see what he was doing, look and see what CD was doing and Pickens when they were both there. Pickens' numbers weren't nowhere near what they became to be. I mean, look at that. Come on now. That's 4 games. That's 4 games missed, and that's what CD came up with. That's incredible. You add those, it's just bottom line. So, I know George Pickens did what he was supposed to do. He answered all the questions. He did it all, but don't be expecting those numbers from George Pickens this year. With CD coming back healthy. Don't be expect CD's numbers to go back up and then expect, George Pickens to come back down. But as far as the third receiver goes, one other thing, and I'm going to let you go, and appreciate everybody coming in, everybody on the Big Time Show channels, whether you're on Twitter or whatever, stay with West Coast here. You're going to learn a whole lot here. Another big thing that we left out was that when you start talking about Florida, we still got to factor in Ferguson, because Ferguson, really technically speaking, to Dak, is third on the pecking order. He's going to try to find Ferg before he find Florida or whoever the guy is. You know what I'm saying? So then you look at Ferguson's stats and see where he is on that part. It's a lot of balls they got to go around, man. It's a lot of balls that got to go around to satisfy these guys. But Florida can do the job if one of the guys goes down. You're comfortable, I think, with Florida stepping even to a number 2 position. If one of them goes down, he can get the job done. I think he proved that last year.
Okay. And man, but I'm gonna tell you one thing. One thing that these numbers do prove is this: is you need more than one. You need more than one. You need more than 2. You need, because listen, if you only have one and one goes down, you have 0. If you have only one and if you have 2 and one goes down, or you think about this, on one's we always think about injury, but just think about just poor performance. You know what I mean? Like if one's not performing at the rate of where you want him performing, guess what? You still need a number 2. So in my opinion, the Dallas Cowboys, it's like Rambo. I always say it like this: Rambo only had 2 hands, but he had 9 guns. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because when one was empty, we ain't reloading it. We dropping it on the ground, we picking that other one up, and we going. You know what I'm saying? So the Dallas Cowboys wide receiver room needs to be like Rambo. You need to have multiple. Now, I'm gonna tell you something also that's kind of crazy too is. You have I was going to say this about KaVontae Turpin. KaVontae Turpin is 29 years old right now. He turns 30 in August. He is exactly 1 year older. 1 year younger than Tyreek Hill. So for all the people that be saying what they say about Tyreek Hill, he's exactly 1 year and a month younger than him at 30 years old. He's about to be 30 when the season starts. So the Dallas Cowboys offense, and then look at my boy right here, Flournoy. Not Flournoy. That's Mingo. I'm sorry. That's hold up. Holden is 26. So a lot of these dudes, listen to me. The Dallas Cowboys have the experience, and they're not afraid of guys with a little bit seniored. But I will say this: I love what Bishop was saying about CeeDee Lamb and CeeDee Lamb going back to who CeeDee Lamb was. But I'm gonna tell you this one thing about CeeDee Lamb is, and that's this, man. As much as I love my boy CeeDee Lamb, statistically and over his career, he ain't really scored a lot of touchdowns. CeeDee Lamb had one season where he had over 10 touchdowns in his entire career. For the most part, CeeDee Lamb is about a 7 to 9 touchdown guy. That's what his career shows. And last year was a career low with 3. You know what I mean? But he did, like I said, he did miss the 4 games. But still, if you go look at CeeDee Lamb's career, go look at his stats. He's only went over 9 touchdowns once in his career, and that was 3 years ago when he had 12 touchdowns. So the Dallas Cowboys need guys who can find the end zone. You know what I'm saying? We need guys who can find the end zone, who can make their way to the end zone. And that's why, man, listen, I ain't about to make this a whole Tyreek Hill show because obviously he's still hurt. He's still, getting himself together and things like that. But man, I want to know from y'all in the nation, do you guys think that the Dallas Cowboys have enough, man? Like, do you think that we have enough? And I'm gonna be honest with you, man. If I showed you this list right here, and it had, I just take off the guy who hasn't played, Trajan Holden. Appreciate you. I love you, Trajan, but you going to the practice squad. If you replace Trajan Holden with this picture right here, you're not telling me that offense. You're not telling me that wide receiver room don't look better, man. You are not trying to convince me. You are not convincing me that this wide receiver room does not look better with number 10 on there. He does not. And I'm gonna tell y'all this right now. A healthy Tyreek Hill, in my opinion, will produce better than KaVontae Turpin, who, for whatever reason, the Dallas Cowboys aren't even giving him the opportunity to play wide receiver unless someone gets hurt. Like, they're not even really giving him the opportunity. Trajan Holden is a guy who has not played in the NFL yet. So behind your two, CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, man, you have a lot of inexperience. You have a ton of inexperience. And I'm going to tell you this right now, bringing in another wide receiver, especially one who's a little bit senior, it only follows what the Dallas Cowboys have been doing for the last 4 or 5 years. Everybody looked at T.Y. Hilton as a guy that was too old. He was do this, you do that. But guess what happened? He came into Dallas, and that dude was extremely productive for the Dallas Cowboys for what we needed him. Did he get 1,000 yards? No. Did he get 15 touchdowns? No, he did not. But we weren't asking him to do that. We were asking him to make plays when he was called upon to make plays. And that's what I need from my third string receiver. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to tell you this right now. You bring in Tyreek Hill for a vet minimum, because remember him being released by the Miami Dolphins. What did that do to him? That triggered a guarantee for the Miami Dolphins. So they have to pay him $28.5 million regardless of who he plays for this year. So what is that? What up with you, Donald Holmes? Appreciate you. Let me know if you got your package. He says, maybe better production, but I'm not trying to get Tyreek. Listen, if you don't want to get Tyreek Hill, I want to know in the comment box. Why? Because a lot of Cowboy fans, y'all just be so set on just saying no to stuff until you actually see it. And then, because listen to me, the same people that say no to Tyreek Hill are the exact same people that said no to George Pickens. And guess what? George Pickens was a 800-yard receiver until he met Dak Prescott. And that's just being real. And that's factual. That's factual. He was a 800-yard receiver with under 10 touchdowns and labeled as a cancer and nuisance in the locker room until he did what? Until he came to Dallas Cowboys, where they say all the toxic players come and get more toxic. But I'm going to be honest with you, that's not even the mindset in Dallas no more. You know what I'm saying? Guys come to Dallas, and you know what they tend to do? They tend to put their best foot forward. You want to know why? Because they're on TV more. A lot of you guys are judging players from stuff that happened 10, 15 years ago. That's not even Dallas anymore. Like, that's not us no more. The guys in Dallas, if you even think about it, we don't even really get in trouble like that no more. No, oh Lord, let me knock on wood. You know what I'm saying? Someone said, I never said no to GP. Then why would you say no to Tyreek Hill then? You post the name of the game is to get as many weapons as possible. You know what I'm saying? To get as many weapons as possible. Okay, good job. That is the name of the game. To have as many possible weapons as possible. Why? Because players get hurt and players just flat out underperform. And I'm gonna tell y'all this right now. For you to ask, listen to me. That's Trajan Holden. That's your 6th wide receiver. That's his stat line from last year. For you to think that this dude is going to come in and get 500-600 yards, that is not realistic. KaVontae Turpin, that's his stat line from last year. And he's going to be 30 when the NFL season starts. The Dallas Cowboys have had him on his team going on 4 years now. And guess what? Last year was one of his better years. The Dallas Cowboys are not trying to use KaVontae Turpin as a wide receiver. You want to know why? Because if they were, they would have did it. They would have did it. They would have given him the opportunity. And we're paying him like he's a 3rd receiver. And that's the production you got right there. Jonathan Mingo, another guy that people love talking about, 24, young guy, 6'2", 220, big wide receiver, big frame receiver. Guess what? He had 1 catch for 25 yards last year. I'm just saying, man. That's all I'm saying. And then listen to me. If you just look at our number 1 receiver, 9 touchdowns. That's GP. We need guys who are used to getting in the end zone. That's part of the reason why I want Tyreek Hill, is because he's used to getting in the damn end zone. Now, I'm going to tell y'all this right now. You ain't got to talk about the injury. I don't even want to talk about injuries with anybody. Why? Because y'all didn't care that Max Crosby was currently hurt, and y'all wanted to trade for him. Had no problem. I don't want to talk about free agents being hurt. Why? Because Trey Henderson was hurt last year, and he's 31 years old, and y'all had no problem signing him. Y'all had no problem signing him. Danny says the more threats we have on the team, the harder it is to scheme against it. Rotation. Absolutely, Danny. Absolutely. You want to know why? Because we live in a world where anything can happen. We live in that world where anything can happen, and the things that you don't think are going to happen tend to happen. All right, give me y'all thoughts. Let's go. Mingo had drops last season. Yeah, CD had some drops last season also. Even with CeeDee Lamb even with him being injured, if he would have caught the passes CeeDee Lamb only had 8 drop passes all season last year, which would put him tied for 9th in the NFL. I looked it up. And you know who had 1 less drop? You know who had 7 drops? Devontae Adams. Jeff said, man, I still want Crosby. Sadiqa said they all dropped the ball last year. George Pickens didn't drop the ball at the rate that CeeDee Lamb did. George Pickens didn't. CeeDee Lamb kind of went through it last year. What's up with you, JV boy? Church. I like this. He says more threat. He said, absolutely. It's listen to me. It's all about rotation, man. And it's all about having as many weapons as you possibly can. And it's all about having as many weapons to go out there and produce. You know, I honestly think the Dallas Cowboys are going to bring another receiver in here. I don't believe the Dallas Cowboys are going to just give Floyd Noy that 3rd receiver spot. I don't believe they are. You know, I believe you guys believe in these guys a little bit more than what the Dallas Cowboys do. You know what I'm saying? Because if you got to think, if Pickens gets hurt or if CeeDee Lamb gets hurt, Mingo is now your number 2 receiver, and 475 yards is not enough. You know what I'm saying? It's not enough. Duke said, "What up, Duke? Appreciate you, my boy. Where are you watching at? Duke's watching on Facebook. Appreciate you, Duke. Duke says we gotta bring in another receiver. I agree with you. And I'm going to tell you, we don't need to bring in just some random dude. You need to bring in a guy that has a history of producing. And listen, it ain't even got to be Tyreek Hill. I get it. Y'all don't like Tyreek Hill, whatever reason. But it got to be someone that is used to production. I do not want to bring in a guy that I'm hoping has his best season next year. No, I don't want that. I want to bring in a guy that you've already seen produce so you can already have that expectation on him. Because if George Pickens goes down or doesn't produce the way he does, or if CeeDee Lamb gets hurt for a couple games and he's not able to produce, you need a guy that can step in that role and still give you about 600-700 yards. And right now, I don't know if that can happen from either one of these guys. Wayne says he doesn't really care about the fans. Who don't care about the fans? What up with you, C. Will? Who don't care about the fans? Jerry Jones do care about the fans. I'm always for getting better, no matter what the consists of. Absolutely, Jeff. I agree with you on that. I can't even say your name, but I'm gonna try. It looks like Khalifah Bryce and running back. Appreciate you, sir. Sharing on Facebook. Hit that share button. You look like a coach, man. Look like you look like sometimes you got a neck like a football player, so I'm assuming you're a football coach. Darren says, who better than Hill to mentor Flo? Honestly, I think Tyreek Hill can mentor all these dudes. All these guys have areas in their game where they can get better at. Sadiq says, I always said he was never coming to Dallas. I never wanted Crosby here. Okay, you talking about Crosby. Money Bags. What up with you, Money Bags on YouTube? Appreciate you, sir. If you're on YouTube, hey, hit that super chat. I forgot I had that. Hit that super chat. If you like the content, hit that super chat. We got 55 people watching on YouTube. We had about 70 earlier today. I appreciate y'all for watching, man. I'm gonna grow my YouTube audience. 8:30 every day is gonna be my new time, from 8:30 to about 10, or 8:30 between 9:30 and 9:45, depending on what we got to talk about. Every day that's gonna be my time. 8:30. So tomorrow morning, make sure it's 8:30 California time. That's 10:30 out there in Texas, where y'all figure out where it is, where you are. But it's 8:30 in the morning here. It's 9:20 right now in the morning right here. But this is gonna be my new time to start the day off. Tuck, he says, Hill is the best bang for your buck because it won't cost much. Hey, I love it. Hill is the best for bang for your buck. It won't cost, and it won't. And listen to me. The exact reason why I'm pushing Tyreek Hill so much is because, listen to me, at a vet minimum. And guess what? If you like this wide receiver core, if you love it, Tyreek Hill's only gonna make it better. That's all. Tyreek Hill will only make it better. If you love this, Tyreek Hill will only make it better. That's all it's gonna happen. That's all it's gonna do. He'll make it better. And think about this: if you love it, then guess what? You can literally sign Tyreek Hill, because remember, Tyreek Hill is gonna get $28 million of his salary paid by the Miami Dolphins. If you love it, then guess what you can do? You can sign Tyreek Hill, allow him to take as much time as he can to get prepared and get ready, and bring him around week 7, week 8. And guess what? At $1 million, you still get a return on your investment. Because in 8 games, I still believe Tyreek Hill would still have more yards than Flournoy with 475 yards and 4 touchdowns. Sam Harris, what's up, Sam? So let me know in the comment box. What are y'all thoughts on this wide receiving core? Let's see what Sam says. He says, I love Hill on his team. He wouldn't even necessarily have to be a 1 or 2 wild depth. Absolutely. What's up with you, numbhead Neil? Hey, Neil, that's all I'm trying to tell these folks is, bro, like, when you bring in Hill, bro, he ain't even got to be number 1. He obviously ain't going to be number 1. He ain't going to be number 2. Bro, he can be a number 3 or 4. Adrian says, what about Deebo Samuel? Listen to me. Deebo Samuel, I actually like Deebo Samuel. I have no problem with him. And I think he would be a good match with the Dallas Cowboys. Why? Because the Dallas Cowboys like making their wide receivers run the ball like a running back. Deebo Samuel's a guy that does that already. He's a utility guy. I think Deebo Samuel is a more utility guy than KaVontae Turpin. The only issue is Deebo Samuel's coming off of a contract with the Washington Commanders that I would assume that he's going to be looking for something north of about $8 to $9 million for thirds. Well, they paying KaVontae Turpin $6 million. Why can't they pay? Well, KaVontae also does your kick returns and your punts. Deebo would probably want about $8 to $9 million for the season, and he's not going to be returning kicks. So I don't know. I highly doubt the Dallas Cowboys will be interested in him, but I like him. Why do I like Deebo Samuel? Because the Dallas Cowboys offense like to make their wide receivers run the ball like a running back in the backfield, and that's something Deebo Samuel does. You know what I'm saying? If you had Deebo Samuels on this team, guess what you could do? You could run him instead of that dumb play that you made CeeDee Lamb do that he got hurt on. You could have Deebo Samuel do that. Who's a bigger runner, who's a bigger guy, and at the end of the day, you don't really care if he get hurt. I care if CeeDee Lamb gets hurt. But yeah, Ruben says, plus the Cowboys love injured players, so why not? It's a good point. We like getting injured players and giving them cheap deals and making them prove it. That's what we love doing. Tyreek Hill was seriously injured. Is he going to bounce back? I'm going to be honest with you. Every injury in the NFL is serious. The only difference between Tyreek Hills is we saw it on TV. You know what I'm saying? An ACL tear, an MCL tear is probably an ACL tear is worse than what he got. Like, I would rather come back from something broken than something tore. You know what I'm saying? Because when something breaks, you have a better chance of returning to who yourself versus when something tears. An ACL tear is just as bad, and people come back from them all the time. You know what I'm saying? This is the modern NFL. You know what I'm saying? So what they're able to do with these guys is ridiculous. And a person's resilience to want to come back is going to kick in too. Also, I'm going to tell you something about Tyreek Hill. He's never had a major injury outside of that. So the wear and tear of really rehabilitating is not on his body. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to tell you something about Tyreek Hill. The dude's a professional sprinter. So what does that mean? This is a guy who's been taking care of his body. You know what I'm saying? So I would feel more comfortable betting on someone like him. And I'm going to tell you this, OG, I'm going to tell you this, Donald, you know what? At $1 million, he don't got to be Tyreek Hill. At Tyreek Hill at 80% is still better than our top three and our bottom three receivers. That's all I'm saying. Tyreek Hill at 80% is still better than our bottom receivers. And I'm going to tell you this right now. Michael Gallup was coming off an ACL tear and was not fully healthy. You know what the Dallas Cowboys did? They paid him. So the Dallas Cowboys have no problem signing hurt wide receivers. That was a good question, though. Somebody said, I'm confused. Wasn't our wide receiver room last? Like I said before, won't Tyreek Hill come in trying to be number one? Listen to me. I would love for Tyreek Hill to come in and try. Listen, why are y'all so afraid of players with confidence? Like, listen to me. This is football. Football is like boxing. I don't want guys that think they're a number 3 receiver. No, I want guys that think they're a number 1 receiver. I have no problem with Tyreek Hill coming in here and thinking he's a number 1 receiver as long as he plays like one. What's the problem with that? That's called coddling. We're not going to coddle players over here. You know what I mean? We're going to put all these players in a big old hole and throw a spoon in there and tell them whoever the man comes out alive is the man who got the job. That's how football is. We're not coddling players. You know what I'm saying? This is the NFL. You know what I'm saying? We don't coddle players. I don't have a problem with that's like a boxer. That's like being mad at a boxer that thinks he's not going to lose a fight. Like, you want him to think that way. And let's talk about this diva mentality. First off, a man can't be a diva. If you Google what the word diva is, that's a female. Whenever we like to take confidence and say that as being a diva. No, that ain't being a diva. And you know who you got? People started that with T.O. When T.O. starts saying, I'll give me the ball. And guess what? They should have been giving T.O. the ball when he was in San Francisco. He was one of the best receivers in football. They should have. Anytime someone demands the ball or demands to be put in a position so they can go out and perform, we as a nation want to call that being a diva. That ain't being a diva. Ain't nobody grow up to be a number 3. Like, you want people on your team that want to win and believe that they're going to be the reason you win. Think about this. Freaking Mike Evans left the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, went to the San Francisco 49ers. You know what he said? He said, you know what? I feel that Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers was missing a piece. And you know what? I'm that piece. Nobody said that was toxic. You know what everybody said? Oh, my God, he's so confident. He's so confident. We love his confidence. But if a Cowboy player said, or somebody wants to be a Cowboy says, it's toxic. What? Listen, your players are only toxic if their behaviors are causing you to lose games. That's it. Because guess what? Antonio Brown was not toxic until what? Until he was on a team that he was doing it and they weren't winning games. But when he was in Tampa Bay and they was winning games, going to the Super Bowl, he was not considered toxic. He didn't become toxic to the next year when they wasn't winning games, and he was doing the exact same behaviors. That's when he became toxic. I like that. Dallas, he says, I can't see why the offense wouldn't be the coldest. A Tyreek, even at 80%, would be dangerous. Facts. What's up, George Lee? Says, preach. Sam says, I would definitely take Tyreek Hill over Jonathan Mingo. That's a no-brainer. Like, bro, that's all I'm saying. I'm not even listening. Everybody's like, well, what happens to Floyd? What happens to Kevontae Turpin? They can still be on the team. All I'm saying is take the worst receiver on our team or a guy who hasn't proven himself, put him on the practice squad and put Hill on the team. That's all I'm saying. You would still have Trajan Holden. Why? Because he would go to the practice squad. That's all I'm saying. It's like if you play Madden and you want a player, what do? You go to the bottom of your roster. Whoever the worst guy in your roster, you release him and bring in the guy you want. That's all I'm saying. Appreciate you, my guy, for the comment right here. That's a good one. Ron Tunda, Moran, Kevin Moran. Woo, that boy got 4 names. He says, I would love Hill, speed over the field. Facts. Numbhand Neil says it would be insane depth. Lamb, Pickens, Hill on the same team. That's ridiculous. I'm gonna tell you, if you put Tyreek Hill on this team, even if he wasn't healthy, the first thing you would say is the first thing NFL teams would say is the Dallas Cowboys are going all in. That's what they would say. That's what they would say. And you know what's crazy? If you look at Tyreek Hill right now, you know what teams are thinking about picking up Tyreek Hill or are being rumored? Let me see. These are the teams that are being rumored to be interested in Tyreek Hill. The Kansas City Chiefs, the Chargers, and the Ravens. Aren't those 3 teams that are pretty serious about going to the Super Bowl? That's all I'm saying. Aren't those 3 teams that have really good quarterbacks? That's all I'm saying. And think about this. If Tyreek Hill goes to the Chiefs, he's easily their number 2. If he goes to the Chargers, he's easily their number 2 receiver. If he goes to the Ravens, he's probably their number 1 receiver. I'm just keeping it real with you. So you mean to tell me Tyreek Hill is good enough for Patrick Mahomes? He's good enough for Justin Herbert. He's good enough for Lamar Jackson. That's 3 teams that are interested that for sure that have said they're interested in him. And guess what? 2 of them have quarterbacks that have been MVPs of the league. So you're going to tell me he's good enough for those guys, but he's not good enough for Dak and the Dallas Cowboys. Okay. K8664A says JVCD had those 6 drops week 1. He didn't have no 6 drops in week 1. Then week 2, the rest of the year, he didn't have 6 drops in week 1. Big Sam says Lamb, Pickens, Hills, man, that's a lot of talent on the field at the same time. I like that comment. Listen to me. If it ain't Tyreek Hill, I'm not tripping, but give me 2 other names in the comment box. That's all I'm saying. Because Flournoy, Mingo, Turpin, and Holden is not enough, in my opinion. That's not enough. That's not enough. You need one more legitimate guy. JV says Tyreek is still injured. How would he try to take wide receiver 1 spot? He has to beat out CeeDee Lamb and GP3. But listen to me. Even if he does, so what? Why are we afraid of bringing in a guy that can be better than the guys we have? Why are we afraid of that? This is competitive sports. I want a guy that thinks he's better than these dudes. I want that. I absolutely want that. You want to know why? Because that means that he's going to make them better. He's going to make them better. Y'all didn't get mad when George Pickens came out in here and had a better season than CeeDee Lamb. Actually, y'all did, because y'all did turn on CeeDee Lamb. Y'all did. Y'all did. I ain't even going to lie to you. I was there. Good. I'm just saying. I was there. I was there when it physically happened. Y'all did turn on CeeDee Lamb. Y'all did. Because CeeDee Lamb has dropped at least 7 passes in every season he's been in the NFL. And last year he dropped 8. So technically, CeeDee Lamb dropped the same amount of passes he drops every year. Just being honest with you. And guess what? When you're top 10 in targets in the NFL, that kind of happens because you have more opportunities to drop the ball. But CeeDee Lamb dropped the ball just as many times as he always does. Y'all just remembered them more this year. That's just how it works. Travis Johnson says NBA, we have 4. He says 39 degrees out there. Okay. With the tornado wave, dang, I pray you get no tornado. Hey, that's a really good comment right there. Tyreek Hill is a winner. We don't have any winners. We don't know how to win when it counts. Hey, that's a good point too. Because right now you don't have anybody on this team that has actually been to the Super Bowl. Nobody. Let me think. Nobody on offense. You don't have anybody. TJ Lock went to the NFC Championship game last year with the Denver Broncos. But you don't have anybody that's actually been there and knows what it takes to actually put a ring on a finger. You don't have anybody. Nobody. So that is a really good point, Wayne. JV, we took that in consideration. He said, I agree with you on the Gallup. Man, we gave Gallup a 3-year contract, and that boy was hurt. And then we made him run out there and play, and he fell in the end zone. Michael says, did we get Hill? No, he's still a free agent. He's still a free agent. I'm just talking and sign Hill, bring him in week 9. I'm okay with that. You want to know why? Because I'm expecting to go to the playoffs. So if you get him week 9, that means you have, 8 more games plus 2 more games in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? That's 10 games possibly. What's up with you, Dana? You out there in Cleveland. Now I don't know if you're in Cleveland, but I know you're in Ohio somewhere. Kiyoy says, Pickens is the number 1. Lamb has always been a number 2 based off of his availability. I don't necessarily believe that because before Pickens got here last year, he wasn't. He was definitely your number 1. But my only thing with CeeDee Lamb is he don't score enough touchdowns. Like he don't score enough touchdowns. Like he's only had over 9 touchdowns in 1 season, and that was 3 years ago. Terry Turner. Oh, my God, Terry Turner. I love you, Terry TT. He said, what's wrong with competition? Facts. Facts. What's wrong with a boxer getting into a ring and thinking that he's going to knock out or he's the best person in the world? You had better think that or you're going to get knocked out. And that's how I want everybody on my team. I don't want my 4th string receiver talking about he grew up to be a 3rd string receiver. No, you grew up to be number 1. Someone said iguana tacos are good. The real Daryl. I'm going to have to try that. I want to try the chicken of the tree. I do want to try it one time. Someone said he's messing up the locker room. Listen to me. How do you know that? Listen, this is a man's sport. Ain't nobody messing up nobody's locker room. These are all grown-ass men that don't even hang out with each other. Like the days of messing up locker rooms don't exist no more. Because like it just don't exist anymore. Like you rarely hear that about any player in the NFL. Oh, he messed up the locker room. Man, just listen to me. If you are that impressionable by another man in your locker room, you shouldn't be in the NFL. I'm just being honest with you because you know what that means? That means you getting taken advantage of everywhere you go. If you at this point of your life, you should be a grown-ass man. These dudes don't even hang out with each other like that. So no, I don't believe that a grown-ass man is going to come in here and mess up your locker room. And I'm going to give you an example. The only people that said T.O. was a bad in the locker room are fans. You'll never find a player that said that about T.O. Everybody that speaks about T.O. as a player says he was a hell of a teammate. That's why he's loved so much now. Like T.O. is not ostracized. And think about this. As bad as Antonio Brown was, they loved him in Tampa Bay until they weren't winning, right? Danny said, what's up, Danny? Danny says they need that in the locker room, make them earn positions and bring it out the best in them, compete and practice, perform on the field. Facts. Because remember, football is still very much a performance-based job. It's a performance-based job. That means what? You get paid off what you do. Wish we would have to come to Dallas. Wish he would come. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. No, if it ain't broke, you make it better. You for sure make it better. If it ain't broke, you make it better. Because last year's price is not this year's price. If everybody around you is getting better and you don't fix the product, guess what? It gets worse naturally. Why? Because there's better products around it. So yeah, even if it ain't broke, you got to make it better for sure. You can't just leave something where it is. Why? Because everything around that product is getting better. Donald Bennett says Jerry will never get him. I don't know. You never know, man. In 2020, in 2026, you never know. George says the bum Eagles just brought in Hollywood. We need Hill. Flournoy and Mingo. He says Flournoy, Mingo, Turpin, hell, all of them can go. I mean, between all four receivers, you got 872 yards and 6 touchdowns. That's between Flournoy, Mingo, Turpin, and Holden. You have 872 yards and 6 touchdowns. That's what I'm asking for my third receiver. That's what you're getting from all 4 of those dudes. Yeah, that's not enough. Joe Trantrino, what's up with you, sir? Tired ass Cowboy fan said he had 4 drops week 1, not 6. That's still bad. It is in one game for sure, but over a totality of a season, he only had 8. So Juan Jennings, I like Juan Jennings. I like him, and he's healthy. He's a free agent, but I'm gonna tell you, Juan Jennings. The reason why I like Tyreek Hill is because Tyreek Hill is your biggest bang for your buck. Because what if Tyreek? This is the thing, right? What if Tyreek Hill actually comes back healthy and is actually Tyreek Hill? Like, what? That's all I'm saying. For $1 million, you wouldn't like to see that? For a vet minimum, this is the only time in his career that you would even be able to get him at this price. You want to know why? Because Tyreek Hill healthy is a $30 million receiver. He is for sure a $30 million receiver. But guess what? Someone else is going to give you the $28 million. The Miami Dolphins is going to pay for it. This is the only opportunity. And guess what? You'll probably only get 1 year at it. So why not? And think about this. Tyreek Hill would love to come to Dallas. You want to know why? Because we're a top 5 offense. The Chiefs are not a top 5 offense. The Ravens are not a top 5 offense. And the Chargers are not a top 5 offense. But the Dallas Cowboys are. And Tyreek Hill is a guy who's thinking about retirement and brand and what he's going to do with his next life. Guess what? Who will set you up better than anybody? Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys. So, yes, he would come to Dallas for sure. I don't remember anybody turning on CeeDee Lamb, but that's messed up if they did. Man, I remember a lot of people turning on CeeDee Lamb years, especially after week 1. Lamb not scoring based off of terrible play calling. I don't know about that because we've had 5 different. CeeDee Lamb has had 4 different offensive coordinators, and he still ain't really produced in the end zone. I'm just being honest with you. CeeDee Lamb is just not a guy that gets in the end zone a lot, and we don't throw the ball to him a lot in the end zone. I mean, that's part of the reason why he don't score a lot in the end zone. So if you want to call that play calling, I will agree with you on that. I will definitely agree with you on that because we don't throw the ball to CeeDee Lamb in the end zone. We don't. We throw it to our tight ends. Dwayne says CeeDee Lamb drops game changing balls, good and bad. Well, he only had 8 drops last year, and 4 of them came in 1 game. So we're not about to tear this dude down and act like he had drops in multiple games because that's not what actually happened. Okay, convinced. Keenan Allen is available too. Ain't he signed him up for a year? Is Keenan Allen available right now? You guys gave me two names, Juan Jennings and Keenan Allen. I like them both, but I just feel like they're both those dudes are gonna be $8 to $9 million a year, and I don't believe the Dallas Cowboys are gonna give that for a third receiver. My boy Jeff said, "It ain't broke, you soup it up." Facts. Deebo Samuels is available, but he's gonna want a little bit more than $1 million vet minimum. Wayne says on YouTube, like Jimmy Johnson says, you gotta hate losing. You want to dig a destroy the NFC East and the rest of the NFC like you did in the 90s. Absolutely. Like, think about this. We didn't need Deion Sanders, but they still went and got him. Like, we didn't need Deion, but we still went and got him. George says, when I was growing up, we didn't get participation trophies. You had to work for the MVP trophy. Someone said, but Wes, those receivers didn't have the target, so how are they going to have more production? I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not trying to give Floyd, Noah, Mingo, and Turpin and Holden more targets, because part of getting targets is you getting open. I am not trying to use the 2020 season to find out if these guys are good. No. I'm sorry. Dak has maybe a 2-3 year more window. No, this is not the wide receiver core you give to a guy making $60 million a year. No, that is not. I'm sorry. You give him the best possible wide receiver core you have that you can make. DeVito says, if we're talking about wide receiver core, but don't we still need a decent running game? Not saying that Williams don't do great, just saying we do. We just picked today to talk about wide receivers. That's all it is. But I agree with you, because if Williams goes down or isn't productive like he was last year, who's behind him? Exactly. They're going to put CeeDee Lamb back there. And think about this. The Dallas Cowboys actually had backup running backs on the team when they made CeeDee Lamb go out there and run the ball, and they didn't use them. So that's all I'm saying. The Dallas Cowboys aren't even sold on their backup running backs, because if they was, CeeDee Lamb would have never been running the football, but he did. Are we taking targets from CeeDee Lamb and GP? Honestly, I don't really care. Because if you're open, Dak's going to throw the ball to whoever. Dak is not a receiver. He's not a quarterback that goes out there and throws the ball to a particular receiver. That's not Dak's game. Dak is going to throw the ball to whoever's open. So whoever's open, that's who's going to get the ball. So it's not taking targets from nobody. If you're open, you're going to get the ball. Period. The only people we be taking targets from, honestly, is your tight ends, and I'm okay with that, because we don't have one tight end that I believe can stretch the field. And no, I don't believe in Ferguson. Is it even a thing of Hill coming to us? We don't know. But we can start it. It is a thing because I'm talking about it. Chase Dubs says, shit, I turned on CeeDee Lamb. It was the drops for me. It was the body language, the please that pissed me off. But he's human. Hey, there you go. Hey, facts. Facts. Appreciate you for being honest, Chase. Brandon Ayuk was cut too. Yeah, he was cut, but he was also cut making like $27 million, and he's 26. Brandon Ayuk is going to get about $20 million. Tired ass Cowboy fan. So by that logic, it's absolutely okay for Dak to throw 4 interceptions in a game and lose it, but it don't matter if he only throws 8 for the season. Come on, man. Yeah, it does, because week 1, you're a different player than you are week 6. Yeah, it does. Like, the NFL is all about improvement, and people are different who they are week 1 through week 8. If Dak threw 4 interceptions in a game in week 1 and we lost that game, and then he improved on that, then yeah, I wouldn't have a problem with that. But I'm gonna tell you this right here: interceptions are bigger than drops, because interceptions means you gave the ball to the other team. A drop just means the ball hit the ground. You still have another player down, unless you're throwing the ball on 4th down. You know what I'm saying? An interception means the other team has the ball. You know what I'm saying? That's a turnover of downs. you know, you drop the ball, we still might have an opportunity to get it again. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Jeff, I agree with you on that. Hey, Jeff, hey, that was my stance all year. That was my stance. He says, come on, people. Lamb is for sure handed wide receiver. Just can't hold one game against him, get off the gas. Hey, that was my stance on him all year. Sam says, we see all these other teams putting pieces around their QB, except Dak Prescott. We have to change that. Facts. Patrick Mahomes just got listen to me. Patrick Mahomes just got the MVP of the Super Bowl, and nobody has a problem with it. Now, if the Dallas Cowboys would have went and got the MVP of the Super Bowl and brought him to Dallas, everybody be saying, "Oh my God, Dak Prescott $60 million, and you still got to trade, and he's only good if he has an MVP." Bro, but nobody has a problem with Patrick Mahomes. Kenneth Walker just went to the Chiefs. Why does Patrick Mahomes need Kenneth Walker? He don't. They've been pretty damn good with an average running back. They've been pretty damn good. But what they go do? They went and got the best guy available in free agent at the running back position. But nobody has a problem with it. Neil says, Dak is, I'll throw it to you when you get open, Prescott. Facts. That's exactly what he told Dez Bryant as a rookie. Y'all remember that? Remember, everybody was like, Dez Bryant it's been rumored that Dez Bryant's a little upset about, not getting the ball, blase. You know what Dak said? I will get the ball to Dez when he is open. Tired ass Cowboy fan says, all right, got you. Sam, I think that's a great comment to get up out of here. He says, like Troy Aikman's, like Tony. That was actually Tony that said that. Tony Romo says interceptions happen when you're really trying. Agreed. Well, hey, man. Hey, I appreciate everybody that's been watching, man. I've been on here for an hour and 30 minutes, man. I appreciate everybody for tapping in and watching with me. Man, if you guys have any comments if you have any more questions before we get up out of here, please put them in the comment box. I got about 8 more minutes. I'm going to do questions for this last 8 minutes. If you put it in the comment box, I'm going to answer it. Doesn't matter what it's about. I don't care what it's about. Put your question in the comment. I only want dumb questions right now. I don't want no smart questions. I only want dumb questions. I want dumb questions only. Dumb questions only. Dumb questions only. We're answering dumb questions only. All right. So if you have a dumb question, put it in the comment box. I'll put it on the comment. We'll put it on the screen. We're going to talk about it for this last 10 minutes. So put it on the comment box right now. Dumb questions only. JB boy, appreciate you. My boy says great show. If you thought it was a great show, hit that super chat for me, please. Worst case scenario, if you can't hit the super chat, please share the content. Share it. Could this be the season we see Stanford take Ferguson's tight end position? Hope so. But I'm gonna tell you this right now. They paid Ferguson like he's supposed to be a number 1 tight end, and it has not worked out. And y'all didn't buy none of them damn Ferguson jerseys I got in my garage. They paid Ferguson. I went out and bought 12 Ferguson jerseys, and I still got 10 of them. So y'all didn't even believe in them. That's all I gotta say. Who is the new running back signed by the Dallas Cowboys? I didn't know the Cowboys signed a new running back, but if they did, and I don't know who he is, that should tell you something right there. George says, what do you think about trading back and getting more picks? Trading back from, I don't want to trade 12 because that's the pick we earned. I don't want to give up 12. And honestly, I would keep it real. I don't want to trade back this draft. I want to draft 2 players because you need them. You need 2 first-round players on this defense. Now it's gonna be weird when the Dallas Cowboys got to pay them dudes, because remember, if you draft two dudes in the first round, they both gonna come up for contract at the same time if they're both the same. Listen to me, if you draft two dudes on defense and they both end up being what you're supposed to be doing, they end up being the Micah Parsons of the world. They end up being some really good players, and guess what? You're gonna sign both those dudes in the same season. Will the Dallas Cowboys do it? Probably not. I'm just keeping it real with you. Probably not. But the good thing about it is you'll only be able to franchise tag one of them. What color are my socks? Cowboy blue and silver. Can we get a petition to get rid of Jerry? No, because he's the owner of the team and it don't work that way. Remember, this is the Cowboys play in Texas, man. In California, you might be able to vote. Hell no, not in Texas. Nope. Can we trade the first round pick for Justin Jefferson? No, because Minnesota would never let him go. He is Justin everything for them. He's their highest jersey selling guy. They just went and they got two quarterbacks that's going to be competing for the starting position. No. But if they wanted to do it, I don't even think I would do that. That's a good stupid question, though. I'm not saying, Adrian, that's why I asked the stupid questions. You gave me one. Hey, bro, how do you feel about the secondary now with the new additions? I feel the exact same way I did last year. I don't know these people, bro. You know what I mean? I don't know none of these DBs, bro. I'm just keeping it all the way a bill with you. I don't know none of these DBs. And since I don't know none of these dudes, I don't really have no faith in them. You know what I mean? Our DB room looks horrible. Like, could it look better? Yeah, it could look better if you know what I'm saying? But I don't know none of these dudes, bro. And to keep it real, you don't know none of these dudes. You don't know none of these dudes. I'm gonna show you right now. We don't know these guys. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, who are these dudes? Who are these dudes? You know what I'm saying? Kobe Durant. I seen plays from it. Kobe Durant and Deron Bland is the only two dudes I know on this list. The rest of these dudes, I don't know these dudes, bro. And you don't know these dudes. You have to take faith to even believe in these guys. And that's just being real. Javon Rebels coming off injury. Stewart's coming off injury. Kalen Carson's coming off injury. And Josh Butler's coming off injury. Deron Bland is coming off injury. The only person that's coming off of a healthy season is Kobe Durant. That's it. He has a nickname, so he's pretty damn good. But we don't know these guys. Like, we don't. Dumb question. Is Jalen Hurts better than Dak? No. 5 years from now, JJ is not going to be relevant. Who? Justin Jefferson? Pick 12. Somebody said pick 12, trade 20 for pick at 12 and trade 20 for Cosby. I'm cool. I'm actually out on Crosby, keep it real. It's been great. Okay. All right. So, yo, man, appreciate y'all, man, for tapping in. I've been on here for an hour and 30 minutes. It's now 10 p.m., 10 a.m., 12, wherever you guys are. I appreciate y'all for tapping in. What's up with you, Rashawn? Appreciate you, my boy, for sliding in. Hey, I appreciate everybody for watching the content, man. I appreciate everybody for sharing the content. If you hit that super chat button, I appreciate you even more, man. Hey, you guys already know what it is, man. Never look down to the stars up. Peace. I'll be live later on today around like 4. You know what I'm saying? Unless something happens, but if nothing don't happen, I'll be back live around like 4 today. You guys already know what it is, though.